Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LTH product briefing. I'm delighted today to be joined by Rhett Lemmel, the Director of Analytics and Insights at Epiq.
My name is Rhett Lemmel. I work for Epiq. I work in the legal business advisory or consulting wing of Epiq, and I'm the Director of Analytics and Insights. It's my passion to help law departments use data and legal business intelligence to make faster, smarter decisions, to eliminate a lot of the burdens, headaches, and stress that a lot of people in law departments are feeling now because they have a lot of reporting and data requirements to push down on them from the business, from the GC, from leadership. And it's very stressful for lawyers and legally trained people because they're not trained in that. They're unfamiliar with it. And we're here to help them.
Thank you for the introduction, Rhett. Now, can you tell us a little bit about Metrics That Matter, the product that you're here today to speak to us about?
Broadly speaking, Metrics That Matter is a comprehensive framework for performance management and law departments outside providers. Recently, we've been adding dashboards and visualizations to our core dashboards that measure performance internally as well, so that anybody within the law department at a glance can get high-level operational metrics, financial metrics, or even strategic insights from the dashboards that we provide.
And can you give us a sense of the target demographic for this product?
Sure, it's for corporate law departments of all sizes. Maybe not the smallest law departments. If you leave out the smallest law departments, really any size law department can benefit from this service because it really just provides them intelligence and information that helps them understand what's going on in the ecosystem that they're working in. It lets them know what outside counsel's up to, what their providers are up to, and it really helps them quantify and communicate what's going on in their matters. Within each of those law departments, it's also useful for anybody sort of on the vertical. So someone who could just be an invoice reviewer all the way up to the GC. That's because we provide operational, financial, and strategic insights that are useful to everyone. You can measure workloads, like how many matters each attorney is handling, how quickly invoices are being processed and paid, all the way up to a really high level view of which of your law firms are eating up most of your spend, at what rate, and what outcomes they're delivering, so that you can make performance evaluations from all of those perspectives.
Well, it definitely sounds like this is a solution that solves a problem for many people. Let's jump in. Can we take a look?
Sure. So first, I want to point out that the dashboards, the primary way that these are delivered to the client are through Epiq Access, which is something we've recently developed at Epiq. There was a LTH briefing on this earlier, so you could find that back in the archives. But this is our new way. This is the innovative Epiq way of allowing clients to interact with us and really revolutionizing the way we interact with clients. So on here, clients are able to make work requests, have access to several other applications, but also right here housed is the legal business intelligence and the dashboards that we'll be talking about. So this is the home of Metrics That Matter. The first dashboard that I have up is an operational level dashboard, but this is one I was talking about that allows for reporting up to the GC. This is a very high level dashboard, and this one's really a lot like the dashboard in your car. So if a GC or a higher level, more senior person within the law department is looking at this, they're looking at it the way you look at the dashboard in your car, kind of just confirming on a fairly consistent basis, probably not daily, but weekly or monthly, that things are operating as expected, right? That's what you want to see when you look at your dashboard in your car. You don't want to see red lights. You don't want to see your temperature too high. Your speed's probably a little high. You don't want to see any warning or any of those things going on. And that's what this overview dashboard does. This sort of a gateway or a really high level summary of all the activity that's going on in the law department. So you see across the top, we have active matters, average matter age, total spend for the year, spend per matter, and number of matters per attorney. Above those numbers, though, you'll see something that's really important, and that's the slicers that allow anyone who's looking at this dashboard to slice and dice the data in any way to get to insights that are useful for them. So this isn't just a fixed static dashboard. This is something that's dynamic and allows for drilling down and really exploring the data. Another way this dashboard is dynamic, and this is a feature of Power BI, and that's the tool we use, Microsoft's Power BI platform, to visualize this data, is that there's dynamic ways to click in. So if you're looking at the business function of packaging, with one simple click, you can see all the dashboard, all the visualizations update. And one of the things you'll see right away when I click on packaging is that the year-to-date budget is way over the top for packaging, and it totals a $94 million in spend. But they're already at 166% of year-to-date budget, which is one of those red lines that a GC would want to know about. So with just a little bit of exploring, a GC can see these troublesome numbers. We could also, if they knew this is something they'd be looking at, set up alerts that would allow them to get a ping if the budget approached a certain number, right? Like if it got over 80 or is approaching 100, we can start giving notifications like that so that the lead attorneys and the GC can adjust themselves accordingly.
Oh, that's great.
for, and it's one of the things we still see a lot more than you might expect, is that even at really large corporations, sophisticated corporations whose main business is technology or data, still have a lot of them still have immature or underdeveloped data programs in their law department. That's because their best data scientists are devoted to the business, right? If your bread and butter is data science, data visualization, or data integrations, often those valuable resources don't have a lot of time to work in the law department. And that's one of the gaps that we're here to close. Yeah, stepping from the Matter Center or the higher level overview, I'm showing now an employment dashboard, but this could really be any practice group. It could be employment, it could be litigation, it could be compliance, it could be anything. But this is set up so where we're saying, as I was talking about, from GC on down, anyone, we can build dashboards, customized dashboards that anyone in the law department can derive value from them. This is one that would be great for if you worked in the employment practice group, or maybe you ran the employment practice group. It shows a lot of the same visualizations as the Matter Center, but a lot of that's probably not important to someone who's running the employment group. So they don't even need to stop at the Matter Center dashboard, the higher level overview. They might if they like to get their bearings and understand what's going on in the law department. But we can set it up so where our system recognizes you when you sign in and only shows you the information that's important for you, only delivers the insights that's important for that person who's logged in. This is important also for sort of data security, privacy issues. If there's stuff that, like, say the GC wants to know some information, say like pay across the law department, we can set it up so where that person would be the only one who could see it, and somebody couldn't go clicking in, stumbling upon information you shouldn't have. But the employment dashboard is just a more granular analysis of the stuff we were just looking at. Again, it has dynamic slicers and a lot of dynamic functionality. Moving from that, I want to touch on one of our most popular dashboards. It's the Spin Performance Center, not the Fee Performance Center, because this gets at a lot of the big questions that law departments ask about their law firm's effectiveness and performance, particularly how much do they cost? What's their billable, or what's their blended billable rate? And are they accomplishing the outcomes that we want them to accomplish? And so this Spin Performance dashboard, this doesn't have the filter on it. Like, this isn't just looking at employment or litigation. This is across the law department. But really with one click, we can allow for a drill down into that important subcategory. So I drilled it down to employment here. And so again, you can see there's 99 active matters, 10 million in total spend, and these are all set up to show what's going on in the current year, because that's what most of our clients want. Increasingly, we're seeing a lot of clients request year over year metrics so that we have line charts, like one would show 23, one would show 22, so that they can track year over year performance. But this is still really where most people start. They start measuring spend performance. They often start in employment or litigation, and they start comparing their law firms to figure out which law firms are the best value for the dollar. Often this is an eye towards a couple of larger strategic initiatives. This is a great example of a dashboard that could be important for the GC, could be important for a practice group lead, a matter lead, or a legal operations professional. In here, you can start asking questions of the data and getting really important answers, like how much of our spend is concentrated in our top matters or top law firms. So I could sort this top law firm savings table to show which law firm we're achieving the most savings from. I can also see which one we're spending the most with. Happens to be the same one in this instance, Haney Morar. You can also do the same thing by matter type, by matter. So you can look at your top matters and see if you really have outliers that are driving these results. And often it is, we find in legal spend, particularly in litigation, the outliers drive the vast majority of the spend. It's usually one or two huge litigation matters for our clients that are driving 60 to 90% of all of their spend. So that's one of the insights we bring to this. And as experienced professionals in this field, we know that managing your legal spend budget is really managing your outline. And so we help our clients gain that perspective and integrate the framework so that they can understand this data within that context. I want to point out at the top a couple of key KPIs. So again, focus here is on cost savings. And you see right here, almost all the way to the right, we have a couple KPIs paired together: invoice savings, return on investment. We developed this metric for clients who either have a robust in-house invoice review team or who hire out invoice review to a provider. And they really want to quantify what they're saving from those efforts. And this, as filtered on employment law, you see that they realize a 3% savings rate for this year and a $285,000 in total savings from invoice savings. And that comes from writing down or writing off outside counsel activities that are in violation of the billing guidelines, outside counsel billing guidelines. Also, importantly, on the far right, you see savings derived from AF, really trendy a few years ago, and for a lot of years, to try to measure and quantify savings by shifting from the billable hour to fixed fees, capped fees, and other AFA arrangements, alternative fee arrangements with law firms. That's less popular now, I think, than it was a few years ago. The trend is kind of dying down, but still it's an important tool that law departments use to cap spend, make spend more predictable, or just to drive savings. And so a lot of our clients like to see reporting out on the AFAs. And while I'm talking about, I've often said a lot of our clients want this, several want that. It's important that these demo dashboards that I know that these demo dashboards are just designed to whet the appetite of our clients. This isn't exactly a straight out of the box service. As we talked about earlier today, there's a lot of mass customization that we can do to make this more useful for our clients. Stuff as sort of silly and trivial as matching the colors to the color scheme and logo of that corporation, but also things that are more strategic and more important, like making sure the practice groups have the same name, making sure the KPIs that we're measuring, that what we're measuring aligns with the strategic goals and initiatives of the law department and even across to the broader business. So that when they're reporting value to their boss, senior leadership, or across to the business, they're reporting it in the same terms as what those groups have already decided is important so that they can really report their value, evangelize their value along the same lines and within the same categories as the business and the law department have established the value and defined their strategic direction.
On that note, can you talk a little bit more about what the implementation process is like?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked. We are really committed throughout our talk today. You probably learned I love alliteration. I've got 3 E's. Now I'm going to tell you 2 I's: incremental and iterative implementation. So by iterative, we know that the best way to get the best results with our key stakeholders, not to try to operate in a vacuum, go into the lab and come out with a dashboard that we think is perfect. We know we're going to iterate on it. And so we're going to have a requirements gathering session, very consultative, where we talk, we help guide them on what we think is important to measure. They tell us what's important to measure. And then we come out with an initial draft. Because we find we get the best results when our clients are responding to something that's already on the screen, something that's already on the dashboard. And we're committed to doing this in several steps till we get it right where the client wants with the dashboarding. The incremental part means that we want to start where we're most effective and where we can get speed to savings fast. So this would be a really daunting project if we were asked to create dashboards for spend, compliance, contracts, all at once. And we can do that. But even in an overarching project that would call for the integration of all those systems, we would want to do it in an incremental way, testing our footing every step of the way, sort of like someone hiking up a hill, right? Being careful where you put your foot each time, because knowing that a slip could drive you back pretty far. So we do that. That's the framework for developing, identifying the KPIs that we want to measure and report on, and building effective visualization. Behind that and going on at the same time is the most important part, and what I think is the magical part that blends both art and science. And that's extracting, cleansing, integrating, and enhancing the data. So we have to build a data model behind all of this to get to keep all those promises that I just made. To make it effortless and integrated, we have to first examine all of the sources of the data that we're going to use. And then we have to figure out how we can integrate all those together so that we have a one-stop shop for all of the legal data and reporting needs. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share this passion project of mine and to help us reach a broader audience. I hope it came across in my presentation that I'm really excited and passionate about this. So if anybody wants to talk about it or explore this opportunity, links will be provided where you can reach out to myself personally or anybody on the Epiq team to help you get started along this journey.
Thank you to Rhett, but also thanks to all of you for watching. This has been the LTH product briefing. See you next time.